Hello, everybody, and welcome to my brand new booktube channel. I am so excited to be here because, let's be honest, a girl can yap. And what better way to do it than to yap on YouTube with you guys? I've been doing this on TikTok. I'm making like 10-minute TikTok videos. I'm like, nobody wants to watch a 10-minute TikTok video, but they might want to chat on the booktube. So, welcome to my channel with Bookish Bree here, and I'm very excited. So for the first video, we obviously had to start with Onyx Storm. We've got to chat Onyx Storm, guys. I can't shut up about it. All my videos have to do with it. It was just too freaking good, okay? 6-star read. Do not come at me for that. It is a 6-star read. And now we're going to chat about it. We're going to chat theories. We're going to chat overall what we thought about it, all the different aspects of it. We're going to talk mad shit about Zayden's mom because fuck Zayden's mom, and so much more. So stay tuned because here we go. So first things first, I've just got to say, I genuinely thought this book was the best book in the entire series so far. Fourth Wing has always been one of my favorite romantasy books. Obviously, it was really fun to read. But this kind of took it from just being in the romantasy category to, I think personally, could take it up to the high fantasy category. There was genuinely so much happening in this book, extra world building, but in a way that didn't feel like you were sitting through more world building. You know what I mean? So much conflict coming to light. We got so many answers in this book. We're left with so many questions from this book. It was genuinely so good to me. I know I've seen a lot of reviews where people hated it. I feel like people either love it or hate it. It is what it is. I'm a lover for it. With that being said, though, I've got lots and lots of theories, so let's jump into it. The first thing I want to say is, do we think that book 4 is going to be either a dual POV book or even more than one point of view book? Because we had some taste in the last book of extra point of views, which we've never had before. I think that Rebecca Yarros is a very intentional writer. I don't think that she just gave us those point of views to give us those point of views. I think that there's very specific details in those point of views that either we would pick up on, but it's going to come up later regardless. But I'm just curious because now we have Zayden and Violet separated. So I'm like, do we think that in the next book we're going to get a dual POV? Because we've already seen Rebecca Yarros say in an interview that there is no book without Zayden. Her and Zayden are in game. There's no book without Zayden. So there's no way that we're going to go all through book 4 of just Violet looking for Zayden, right? And if so, do we think that we wouldn't have any Zayden chapters? I feel like it would have to be, if they're going to be separated for majority of the book, which I have a theory on that, which is why I kind of think that they might be separated for a while, then we would kind of have to get that dual POV, right? If not, I definitely think Violet will be able to communicate to Zayden through dream walking for sure. Hopefully in the beginning. I just don't see the next book going on for endless amounts of chapters without either dream walking to Zayden or at least Zayden POVs, right? I'm really hoping that Onyx Storm is going to have, at the very minimum, a dual point of view. So let's start off on a positive note here, okay? Let's not get into the detrimental stuff yet, okay? But let's start off positive. Our boy, Riddick. We all love Riddick. I don't even know if Rebecca could have anticipated how much people would love Riddick. I love when there is a side character who's funny. Quicksilver, for example, Carrion is my favorite character. Now, I'm not saying Riddick's my favorite, but I do love Riddick. And I would love to see some Riddick chapters, if we got them extra POVs, of him and his dragon. Why do they prank each other? Literally, Aotram, if that's how you pronounce it, Aotram picked Riddick for the vibes. Okay, that's what he picked him for. He did not pick him because he was this gonna be the most powerful. He picked him for the vibes. He was like, bro, we're gonna have a good time together. And you're strong, so let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do this. And now they're freaking pranking each other. What dragons prank each other? Unheard of, because Taryn could never. He would he would die before he fucking had a prank war with Violet, okay? So, love Riddick. Now, I want to get into this because I think that Riddick is actually blossoming into one of the most powerful riders of their generation. I'm not saying that obviously he's not the most powerful. You've got Xaden, you've got Violet, and you've even got Aaric, which we'll get into. But I genuinely do think that Riddick is becoming one of the most powerful riders. They specifically said in the book that it was not often that an ice wielder could freeze the liquid inside of something, for instance, like a body, right? So the fact that Riddick is able to do that, I think is supposed to indicate how strong he truly, truly is. And I think that that's going to play into things in the future. Now, if we think about Rhiannon's chapter, in her chapter, we saw Riddick reach to a wyvern and turn it gray and it falls down and dies, right? So I think it's safe to assume that he froze it from the inside out, and it was showing the significance of him being able to kill a wyvern. We have not seen that many riders whose signet can directly kill one, right? We know Violet's can. We know Xaden's can. We have not really seen that many riders who can, though. So now we're seeing Riddick is powerful enough to do so. And I think that that is supposed to be super indicative of his power and like what he is developing into, because this book has also specifically said that signets are developing and getting stronger over time, right? Yeah, of course, like once you hone it, it's going to, but like they're developing further. Xaden's signet is developing to more than just reading intentions, right? We know that Dane's powers is super duper powerful, like all these different things. So I'm just thinking that maybe we're showing him how powerful he is. He's literally said it, like, y'all need to stop. Like, yes, I make jokes, but like, don't take away from who I am as a writer and how strong I am, because I'm very smart and I'm very strong. And like, yes, Riddick, stand on business, let them know, because he is. And with that being said, we're gonna jump into who and if we think the most powerful writers are walking right now. We have seen a lot in the next book about how they have not had 6 of the most powerful writers walking all together since the wards were put up in like the beginning of Navari, right? I'm sorry if I mispronounce everything. I did not listen to the audiobook, so just forgive a girl. Now, with that being said, I think they keep talking about this because I think that the 6 most powerful are currently walking the continent right now. And I want to give you guys my predictions on who I think it is. I obviously think it's Xaden and Violet. I think they're 2 of the most powerful. Yes, whatever. Oh, he's Venom now, so technically it'd be Lynx. That boy don't exist. Who? Say it again. Don't. Bye. Xaden, Violet. Also Aaric. And before anybody comes after me, he literally is a signet that we have never had ever. That goes to show how powerful he is. Not only that, but he's bonded to a blue dragon, which we know are extremely, extremely powerful dragons. So the fact that Aaric is a precog, I think that that goes to show that he's going to be one of the most powerful. And he's a phenomenal fighter. Next, I think it's going to be Dane, Eidos. And I love that everybody's finally starting to love Dane. I've been saying it since the end of Iron Flame. Like, don't get me wrong. Dane was insufferable in Fourth Wing and for the first half of Iron Flame. But as soon as that boy figured it out, he became so much better. And it literally, if you don't know what the allegory of the cave is, Plato's allegory of the cave, like, look that up, because that is essentially like how you can explain Dane's situation. Okay, he was literally being sheltered and filtered information by his father. But as soon as he figured out what was real, he went to the right side. And now he's over there fighting. So I love that he's getting his recognition in Onyx Storm. I'm so freaking excited for him. I think he's going to be one of the most powerful. And I think it was indicated because when Sloane went to reach for his power, she literally said, like, you should not have this much power. So the fact that she can feel how deep his well is and that she was astonished by it after pulling Mama Sorrengail's power in the last book, her being astonished by how powerful Dane is, I think goes to show he's powerful. And how can his signet develop? That could even develop into something further. And I have a theory about that. We'll get there. I think Dane will be one of the most powerful. After that, I think it's going to be Sloane. I think having a siphon is something they've talked about as rare. And I think that that's something that's going to be really going to come into play in the next book. She's been so scared to use her power and to hone her power. So right now we don't truly know how powerful she is. But I think that now that she's becoming a little more comfortable with it, thanks to Dane, eyes on me, Ados, okay? You are life. So good. I think that we're going to see her power and how truly imperative it's going to be for the next books. And I think it's going to continue to develop, and that's going to be, she's definitely going to be one of the most powerful. Now, for who I think is going to be the 6th most powerful writer, this I could interchange with a few people. I want to first say I think it could be Riddick because of how much his power has developed. But it could also be argued, and I could be convinced it could be either Garrick or Bodhi as well. So for the 6th most powerful, I think it's going to be one of them 3. So speaking of Bodhi and Garrick, who do we think is the new Venom brother? The guy who just turned Venom after watching Xaden struggle for months. I think it has to be one of 2 people, and I'm getting drawn in 2 different directions. So my gut is telling me that it's Garrick, but my head wants to justify that it's Bodhi, okay? Gut-wise, I think it's Garrick because we saw in Imogen's chapter, no matter what, Imogen's chapter has so much importance. Not only did Gwen die, which if I saw that from anyone else's chapter, I would not have emotionally cared, but seeing it from Gwen's chapter, cried for that, babe. I think we have the significance in Imogen's chapter because in her chapter, we saw Garrick literally walking away from her, and she's like, yo, like, where are you going? And he clearly near burnout, and he's like, I'm going to figure something out so I can help. And I'm like, okay, so because of that, I'm like, he was nearing burnout. It makes me think that he pulled from the ground so he could help. Now, the reason my head says it could be Bodhi is a couple of things, because when he was trying to help out Violet, he could not counter Theophanie's signet because he cannot counter a signet that was venom and not just a normal rider or flyer, whatever. So I'm like, maybe he pulled from the ground so that way he could then like kind of hone his signet against the venom as well, especially because he felt probably kind of helpless at that point when he got sent away because he couldn't do anything. And not to mention, in Imogen's chapter, he was like on the ground throwing up. So then I'm kind of like, well, maybe it's Bodhi. And it would also make sense as to why. Now, I'm not saying the only reason that Xaden married Violet is because he wanted somebody to rule Tyrandor, whatever. I'm not saying that. That man's been talking about marrying her the entire freaking book. He's been talking about her being the Duchess the entire freaking book. He married her because he wants to marry her. However, if it was Bodhi, they've talked specifically about how Bodhi would be the next in line so many times. If it was Bodhi, he would need somebody to be able to rule over there and keep it and know somebody would take care of it. Not that he really even cares that much about Tyrandor. He cares much more about Violet, obviously. But that's where my head like tries to justify that logic. However, with that being said, I still think it can make sense that it's Garrick who pulled from the ground because Bodhi always said, like, I was never meant to rule. I'm here to help you, to follow you. Now, I think regardless, we know that Garrick and Xaden are missing. They never mentioned if Bodhi was missing. So potentially Bodhi could be missing as well. He would follow. Even if he was not Venom, he would follow. He would be there on, which I think that Xaden is on a secret mission to infiltrate and take down and become stronger. And I think that Bodhi would go with him on that. Regardless, I think he would go with him Venom or not. So that's kind of why I still think it is probably Garrick. And it would make sense because also we have 6 eggs missing now. Where are these eggs? I think these eggs were taken to the Dune aisle because they specifically said when they were over there, the ladies were like, oh, if you want us to fight with you, then give us some eggs. And they're like, oh, no, we don't trade in dragon eggs. And she was like, well, you will. And when you do, hit me up. Okay, well, why would there be 6 eggs missing? I think that they took an egg of each color. They took it over to the Dune aisles for the Dune ladies so that way they could potentially start becoming riders, bond with dragons, whatever. I think Garrick walked those eggs over there. I think homie into thin air, walked them over there. Probably came back. Now Xaden and Garrick and probably Bodhi are all on a secret mission. It would make sense for them all 3 to be gone as well because then Melgren can't see what's going to happen. He can't watch them. He cannot watch them if there's 3 together. So that's where my head is at with that. But speaking of Xaden being gone on whatever this little mission is that he's on, because he's on a mission, why was Tairn so tired that he had to sleep through the cycle to recover? Tairn is so strong, and he was not on the verge of burnout. He would have been totally fine, even with Violet potentially on the verge of burnout. I think that probably Andarna either broke or is blocking, but probably broke the bond between Tairn and Sigale. So that way Sigale could go with Xaden to do what they need to do, and Tairn could stay with Violet to do what they need to do. And with that being said, like, I don't think it was like a, oh, you're choosing him over me kind of thing. I think it's literally they had a plan. We don't know what happened in the last 12 hours. I think they have a plan, and I think that Xaden's on a mission to infiltrate and take down whatever, learn the venom. And I think that Sigale went with him to do that, and I think that they had to get rid of the bond so that they could, because Sigale could not be apart from Tairn for a long, extended period of time so that way they could do what they needed to do. Not to mention, Violet reached for Xaden, and she did not even see him in her archives. Like, it's not even like she could reach him. Like, she couldn't even see him in their archives. And to say, oh, it's the distance. We saw shadows when she first woke up. We know he was closer by still when she first woke up. So why would she not be able to reach him? Because that bond is broken, guys. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. That bond is broken. Thank God Andarna's back, but why is Andarna back? Do you know something? She has to have come back because, one, she obviously knows they need her, but she was gone for a couple months. Like, Andarna definitely is back with some info for us, and I'm here for it. I'm here for what we're going to learn from our girl, Andarna. I don't have much to say on this subject, but I do got to say, fuck Xaden's mom. Fuck Xaden's mom, bro. I don't care. Oh, like, she didn't know. You're married to a man who tests people in the weirdest ways. You knew this dinner was a test, okay? Not to mention the entire time, you knew Xaden was coming. You knew he was coming. You pretended like you were surprised. You knew he was on his way, all these different things. You've known he was alive. You never once tried to reach out. I don't care if we get a redemption from her. I don't like her. I'm not going to like her. And speaking of not changing feelings, I still... Don't get me wrong, like, I don't hate Kat, and I think Kat had a lot of funny scenes in Onyx Storm, and I see the buildup of, like, making us like her or whatever, but, like, I will not be able to forget what Kat did in Iron Flame for me to just, like, love her now. I don't fuck with mean girls, and that's what Kat was. And I hate to say it, but, like, karmic justice for her man dying. I said it. Karmic justice, because you know what? She'd be trying to break apart Xaden and Violet the entire damn time of Iron Flame not caring that they loved each other. That's called karma. I feel for you. Of course, they get rid of the one character that makes Kat less freaking insufferable. Of course, the one character who made me at least be able to ignore her better. Like, why? He was so nice. But at the same time, I'm like, that's called karma. And I'll be the one to say it. Now, to get into the good stuff. Dane and Sloane are vibing, and I'm here for it. Honestly, like, give me a bonus chapter. Give me a novella. Like, I want to see their story. I want to see their story develop because it's not going to be enough to just see it from Violet's point of view. It's really not, because that is some hate trope right there. That is not enemies to lovers because she was never his enemy, but he was hers. Okay? That is a hate trope right there. And I want to see that develop because that's going to be so freaking good. Danny's going to be such a sweetheart to her. Are you kidding me? We need that. We need that internal struggle that Sloane's going to be going through. We need to see Dane stepping into that true romantic role in a way that we knew he could be, that's actually supportive. I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. I want it ASAP. Also, is it just me? Or was Mira and Kat's cousin Drake vibing? That man loves her. Okay, she punched him when they first met. Like, he fell in love immediately, and I know it. He fell in love with her literally immediately. Also, am I the only one who low-key, like, when I first met Theophany, I was like, oh my god, is she gonna, like, low-key be good and, like, show us that there are some good villain and that, like, Xaden could be a good villain? But then that bitch, like, literally did not do that at all. That bitch was a bitch. So, got me there. Got me there. Overall, we could talk for hours about more theories, more to come. I've got so many thoughts about Aoric, all these different things that we're going to see in the next book. But I feel like this is already getting kind of too long. So we're going to cut it off here. If y'all want another one chatting more Onyx Storm, we can definitely do that. Just let me know. But this book was genuinely just one of the best romantasy books that I have read. I'm genuinely so happy about it. I'm so glad that we got blessed with it this year. I'm really hoping that we don't get too long. Like, hopefully we don't get another Sarah J. Maas situation, which Rebecca would never leave us waiting for 5 years for this. Not that it's been 5 years, obviously, but I don't think Rebecca would leave us waiting that long for the next book. Like, even though she's taking a break, I still feel like we'll probably get it around a year. So hopefully we get the next book soon. Love, love, love. Onyx Storm, 6 freaking stars from me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about Onyx Storm. What did you rate it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I want to hear. Thank you so much for joining and watching my YouTube video, my brand new YouTube video. Thank you guys so, so much. I love you guys. If you want to like, comment, and subscribe to support your girl, I would appreciate that. And we'll see you guys next week for the next bookish YouTube video. Bye!